Welcome again to PMS Podcast. Please make sense. Today, I'm Nivedita, and here I have Soumya with me. Hi, Soumya. It's been such a long time since you joined the podcast. So, how's it going?
Hi, Nivi. Yeah, it's going great. I was just busy with a lot of things. Yeah, and it feels really good to be back in the podcast.
I know it's been a while, and most of us don't have time to do this anymore. And speaking of time, recently for everything I do, like I want to move from India to another country, and I was booking tickets. My parents started looking at dates to book the tickets, dates to buy stuff. Like they started looking at dates for every single thing that I do, and it's just driving me crazy. Have you ever had a experience like this? Like people just following random superstitions, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I had like the other day we were having a party here, and usually, like when you have a party and when you're sharing some drinks, you do Prost here. Prost is nothing but cheers in German. So it's like when you do Prost, and if you don't look into their eyes and Prost, you'll have bad sex life for 7 years or so. So yeah, God knows.
Coming to superstitions in general, right? Have you ever had experiences like really bad experiences from your childhood in terms of superstitions or this random, hilariously stupid traditions that people follow and like they don't have any reason for actually following them? Especially I
Hmm.
experienced this in my the puberty stages, doing all of those little things that just doesn't make sense anymore. So since then I've been thinking like why do I started questioning, in fact, like why do we do certain things? What are some things that you've seen in your life that just makes no sense?
Yeah, I think there are many things that makes no sense, and sometimes it even triggers your mood and gets you into a disappointed state because you have that negative effect that go running in the back of your mind because you did something. So yeah. I mainly remember when we were going out, if somebody sneezing, then it was like it was said that it would bring ill luck for the journey or something. So that was something which was like mostly observed in my home. It's like there were days like when you're just having cold and then but still you should hold your sneeze when if someone's starting from the home or something. Because
And
yeah, they would
even if
like
you just don't have all of those sentiments in you, if something happens, you start questioning, like, okay, what if that was the reason? And sometimes just coincidences seep into these superstitions and make you question, okay, maybe that is the reason. It's just
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, right. That's like entirely true. At least like it affects your mood because if you know how the 90s parents are and how the bond is between the parents and kids. So it's like they just shout at you like, what the hell? Why did you sneeze? And then it affects your day, right? Like you feel sad and then you feel stressed out or yeah, I think yeah, it affects your health, mental health, but not in a very long time. But yeah, like you become conscious of the superstition, and maybe you also tend to follow it unknowingly.
Yeah, yeah. Coming to superstitions, like in our history, I think there were so many that maybe we have in our generation have lost touch, or maybe we're just fortunate enough that we don't have to go through all of those. But have you heard of these stuff like manglik dosha and stuff where if your astrology chart has a manglik dosha, you have to marry
Yeah,
someone who's also having this manglik dosha, or there are stuff like sati was one kind of superstition where
yeah,
after the husband dies, the woman also dies because her life is worthless after the man dies. Or
yeah,
mainly that I still experience in my life was like this whole puberty thing, like the time when you get your first period. is just hell. Like it's supposed to be
Yeah.
a pleasant experience with mother explaining me how things are supposed to be, what is adulting, or about menstrual products, or how to take care of health. I had nothing. I was just made to sit in one corner of the house, eliminated from every other human. It for those few days I felt like I was an untouchable.
Yeah.
It was so bad. When you question the roots, why, like, what is the exact reason the superstition started, it doesn't make sense at this point, because maybe women were kept away from the houses, because at that time these period products or any kind of antibacterial products did not exist. So
Right.
to prevent the rest of the family from getting infected, they were kept in a separate place. They had a different setup for menstruating women. It made sense, but right now we're just blindly following most of these superstitions without really understanding why we do those things.
Yeah, I think
And
I was
yeah,
pretty fortunate in this aspect because my family wasn't that strict and all. Like they were more oriented towards the biology of this, and yeah, I think I got the proper guidance, and it wasn't that isolating. I mean, I heard stories from my friends as well. Like it's not just the first time, but most of the people even follow it like every single time they get their periods, they are still made to sit away from the family or made to not touch many things, and like these kind like or bath and like so many things are there and which they follow every single time. Can you imagine how
yeah, it's
suffocating it
cruel.
is, like every month, every single month? So luckily I didn't go through any of those because my family believed it's merely biological and there's not much weight attached to it. So yeah, I was lucky in this case. Yeah, and also I believe like in the olden days, women were the homemakers and they took care and they were like always doing many activities and they didn't have enough rest time, right? So I also think, isolating them or making them to not do anything is also like an indirect way of asking them to take rest for few days because their body is already going through a lot. But nowadays, I think, yeah, a lot of things have changed, but mere belief that we still have to follow those things haven't changed.
There are so many other things that are still part of our culture. We call them culture, and we impose it on people without really understanding it. I mean, if you are trying to tell someone something, have a scientific or some kind of reasoning to the whole belief, right? If it doesn't, nobody's gonna follow it. See, if you're gonna tell the younger generation something, they are definitely more I mean, they are definitely gonna ask you the exact reasons why you're telling them. Then, like, nobody's gonna blindly follow you anymore.
Right.
That kind of generation is just gone. So some things like, a black cat crossing when you're going, or the nazar, like the evil eye concept. I don't know, some of them still believe. I have a partial belief with that. Maybe it's coincidences, but whenever I go out, like every single time for the last 5 to 6 years, every time I go out to a public function like a wedding or some kind of a ceremony with more than 50 100 people, I always end up with a headache at the end of the day. Always related to nazar, because having that headache, I come back home, I try to drink water, I try to eat well, and the headache will not subside for even 2 days. But once I do a arti, like,
Yeah.
the fire cleansing, it kind
Yeah.
of removes the aura around you, like the negative aura around
Hmm.
you. So I kind of believe that. So some of these superstitions, they just call it like, okay, somebody gave you nazar. No, it's kind of like there is negative vibrations and positive vibrations around you, and when you get the
Yeah.
negative vibrations, it kind of affects your aura. So once you uh, understand the science behind it, this superstition actually made sense to me.
Yeah.
But I can tell you so many, like so many superstitions that till date does not make any sense. There is no logical explanation to it at all.
Yeah, like when you were talking about the black cat, it reminded me of like some other animals and their acts that are taken very seriously. It's like my grandmom used to like stay on the terrace for most of the time during my childhood because there were crows coming and shouting. So it's like a crow should
Wow.
not, yeah, a crow should not, like make sounds near the home. They say someone in the family is going to die soon if a crow is coming and shouting near your building or somewhere surrounded to you. It's like, yeah, like she used to, half of the time she used to be engaged in fluing those crows away. And also, right, in villages, if you see the stray dogs, right, they don't have tails. If you notice, did you ever notice that? The tails
Yeah,
are cut off for
actually,
the
the
stray
cut off.
dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. Because and also the ears. Okay. Yeah, ears are also cut off because the unnecessary waving of these ears and the tails are said to bring this bad luck and all. They say like the dogs get to know who is going to die or something soon. They say this, right? The animals get to know quicker and
Yeah.
all these kind of things. So yeah, they remove. It's not good to shake these ears. They just remove the ears. And imagine how painful it would be. Like, you're not taking it to a hospital and then doing a surgical procedure. It's just like chopping off the ears, and it's like really horrible. Yeah. Yeah, they do all these kinds of things.
Okay, so let's play this quick game. So I'm gonna tell you
Mm-hmm.
some of the most funny and interesting superstitions, and you tell me if you've heard of it and if you can actually guess if there is any logical reasoning behind it. Okay.
Okay, let's try.
So the first one is whenever you get a vehicle, like you're purchasing a new
Mm-hmm.
vehicle, they tie a lemon and I think chilies around it.
Yeah.
Does it make any sense? Is there any reason?
Yeah, so yeah, I've seen that like they do it very commonly, right? Like they take the vehicle to a, temple or something, and once it is done, you tie this lemon and the chilies, or
Chilies.
even like, yeah, they even like, what do you say, drive it on the lemon, right? Initially,
Yeah.
they put the
They
lemons under the tires, and then yeah,
It's
I
to
don't
ward
know.
off evil. Like
Oh, nice.
so, I think
I
it
didn't.
could have a meaning behind. Like it. It's probably to ward off some animals, like maybe rodents or stuff. Is what I'm guessing, but I could be
Hmm.
wrong.
Yeah.
Uh, I have another
Yeah.
interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had your right eye twitched? Like
Yeah.
whenever you have your eye twitched, it's like you have good luck. I've had eye twitching for like continuously for like 2 or 3 weeks. Nothing good happened. Why?
Yeah. I
I was
mean,
waiting for
like
something good to happen.
whenever this eye twitching happens, right? I'm like, first I'm stressed out, like to remember which eye brings what. I'm like, when the eye is twitching, I'm like,
Oh, good.
okay, which eye is for what? Right eye is for what? Left eye is for what? Which is good? Which is bad?
Yeah,
And I immediately get lost in those thoughts. Yeah.
yeah. What about mirror breaking in your house?
Yeah, I didn't care about it much, but I heard that if you like look into a broken mirror, then it brings some bad luck and all. Yeah, I didn't actually follow that anytime because girls love mirrors and I didn't
We
I
break
didn't
it.
care much.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
whenever I see into a mirror, it's like, yeah, even if it is broken, I just I feel it's more aesthetic. You can take a picture in it or something. But I didn't think in that perspective. But I have, yeah, but like people telling that you should not look into a broken mirror or something. I think it's because if it's broken and then you have it in your home, you might even get hurt, right? It might be because of that. I don't know. Yeah.
Bad luck is like so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually because I believe it's mainly because to make people stop doing some things. All these superstitions, right? At least like most of them, they should either have a scientific explanation or it should be to, like scare people off from doing some stuff. That is the main root, is what I
Could
believe.
be. I
Because
think so. Yeah,
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 because if I just come to you and tell me we don't look into a broken mirror, you will not, like, you will not listen to me. But if I associate it with something, saying that it brings bad luck or some scary stuff, and at least like it'll somewhere back of the head you'll be having that thought, right? So I think that might be the root cause also.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is very true. Like our ancestors, whenever they wanted to tell something good to us, if they just tell it, mostly we'd forget or we'd be like, it's not a big deal. But when you are adding a scare factor like bad luck or the God
right.
will punish you, or if you don't do this, this something bad will happen. So when you associate it with something that can create fear in you are more prone to remember it and pass it on
Yeah,
to the next generation.
right.
So they did it that this they thought this through, and
Yeah.
now we are suffering without having any clue why we are doing the stuff. But
Right.
yeah,
I think most of the practices are also like that. Like you were talking
hmm,
about the periods and all of these,
huh,
right? Even it was like mostly related to hygienic reasons and all of that stuff, right? It just got passed on even when the hygienic standards got changed now. So I think, yeah, most of the things are meant to be like that. Like, yeah, even like taking baths. Did you hear this? From my childhood, I was told if you bath after you have your food, you will be born as a donkey in your next life. Did you
oh
hear
my
this?
god, I've heard that don't take bath right after eating because it
Yeah,
slows down your digestion. That's all I've
right,
heard. But this is
exactly. But
this is
but
kind of
how I
new.
heard is yeah, but how I heard that is if you bath after you eat, you'll be born as a donkey in your next life. So
Wow, very interesting.
yeah, but that
Okay,
might have had some scientific reason in the background or something like just you
could be.
mentioned, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, this is like more catchy or easy for people to,
To
remember
remember.
and
Yeah,
then pass it on, as you said.
and there's some things like you know you should not sweep or you should not cut your nails at night. So all of those, it just makes sense because back then there was no electricity. You did not have lights after like 5 or 6 p.m. How do you think people will cut their nails? Like it, if they cut their nails, the thing's gonna fall on the floor and somebody's gonna get hurt. Or if you, even if you, I mean, you can't even sweep at night. It was non-existent at that time. Okay,
This,
it did not even make sense at that time, and they just made this whole thing up. Like, do not sweep
mm,
at night because it will give you bad luck,
yeah, this is so
or it will
funny.
drive away the wealth, or it's probably because when you sweep at night you're also sweeping the money away
Ah,
because you just don't know where you kept your money.
that's nice. That's actually interesting.
Interesting, I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
right.
And what about eclipses, like
Hmm.
whenever you have a solar eclipse, have you actually
Yeah.
seen them with your naked eye?
No, I haven't till now. I
Okay,
haven't.
so there are things like pregnant women cannot go and see
Hmm.
eclipses. I don't know why they specifically told for pregnant women, but maybe it's generally I think
Yeah.
eclipses are have different
Yeah,
kind of
I think because they
radiation.
have a different, yeah, radiation and all that kind of things might affect the baby and all. But like, have you heard this? You have to take bath during
Y-
eclipse or something.
Yeah, I have no idea why we do that.
I
Right after
think
an
as
eclipse, you
like
have to take a head bath. Is it
yeah, right
again
now
linked to
thinking
this
about it.
radiation?
Yeah, thinking about it now, I think it is because people used to not bath often in olden days. If you remember, it's like at least head bath, they didn't
Correct?
do it that frequently. It's like,
Huh?
even if it is coming to cleaning the house or doing this head baths and all, they didn't have this, like hygienic routine like now we have,
Yeah.
right? We take a hair wash like 3 days once or something whenever we feel we're sweaty. So I think it's because eclipses happen like once in a cycle, right? And all these festivals also, right? And you're supposed to take the hair wash, you're supposed to clean your homes and all. I think all these were, enforced to actually make them bath and keep their homes clean and all of these stuff. This is what I think, because at least with the name of these, they stay hygienic, and they are good, and their health is good, is what I believe. That might also be a reason. Yeah, because now it's like we almost like clean our homes every day, we mop our homes every day, and like, yeah. But in the olden days, maybe they were like very busy in many activities. Like they used to have a lot of kids and all, also, right? Like, yeah, I think they did not have enough time scheduled for these things. At least, like in the rich families, maybe it was, but.
You know something? Kartik Masam in Tamil has just started, which
Mm-hmm.
means you're not supposed
Ah,
to get married, which
ah.
is also a superstition. And when I asked my parents, they had no clue. Like, and then I started understanding the whole reason behind it. So when you get
Mm-hmm.
married in July, and apparently when you're getting married, you're also assume that you also consummate the marriage on the day
Hmm.
of the marriage. Like you're having sex,
Yeah.
you're getting pregnant. So in case you get pregnant around the same time, in 9 months you'll be having a child, and that at the end of the 9 month will be summer, which is
Ha.
difficult for childbirth.
Thought so.
So that is the reason why they did not want people to get married in RD. It's kind of my
Hmm.
theory around it, but it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And also,
Right.
this thing is not valid anymore. Like we have ACs, we have all the luxuries to
Yeah.
do all
Yeah.
of this like right now, but
Right.
it kind of made sense back then. You cannot
Hmm.
have sex mainly in RD. So even
Yeah.
uh, not just about marriage. If somebody is in their first year of marriage or whatever, people are just sent back to their mother's place during the
Hmm.
RD month
Yeah.
so that they do not get
Meat. Yeah.
pregnant at
Yeah.
all. No sex at all. And then what else? Can you
Yeah.
think of something?
Yeah, on the similar notes, even I was thinking like, is it mandatory to have this muhurtam and all like on the same night? Because if you think about it, right, it was arranged marriages and you don't even know the person, and it's like you just straight away go and have sex with them the night you get married.
Know,
How?
call it Subhamuhurtam or whatever, like this auspicious hour when you have to
Yeah,
have when you have to have sex so that you can have a really good child. Like
yeah,
how do they
but.
fix this particular time is an auspicious time?
Yeah, they just put all the shells maybe, and then
For
it's like,
shells.
yeah, this is the minute where you have to go and.
Have sex and get impregnated or whatever. This is
Yeah, I mean
crazy.
it's really scary, man. At least the
Yeah.
times now, I feel very lucky because yeah, it's like they don't even I don't even know if they have this intercourse and or like in the last episode that you were talking, right, that reminds me of many things. Yeah, yeah, I think that is also a superstition because I have watched this series called Sin. I don't know if you watched it. There's a series called Sin. So in that, what happens is there is this guy who gets married to a girl, and then he's like, very reserved and all, that kind of guy who doesn't have a self brain, for most of the things. And he's like, his mother tells him that tonight is the Subamo or something. And then, yeah, I mean, the girl wasn't ready because she was out of a relationship and then she needed some time and all. So she literally like begs him on that night to, like, at least like she needs some time and all. But it turns out like he was like, the exact dialogue is like, the time is passing, so yeah, we have to do it.
Let's
And
do it.
then he almost forces himself on the girl, and then it's like she bleeds for the next few days, and it's like very painful. So it's like he stresses that my mother told me to have at this time, we have to do it in this particular time. So it's really scary. But now I think people have changed and they're like more considerate, and I think both the man and the woman. But this was something disturbing to me. Yeah.
If you're watching stuff like this, it does exist somewhere in the society.
Right, it does exist, right? Because like
we are actually
end
in
of
a
the day,
very
it's
privileged system, dude. Like we are educated, but take India, there are so many of rural places where they are not even educated much, and all of these practices are like very common. It's like part of their life. We are calling this stupid or superstitious and all. There are parts of the country that still follows all of these
yeah,
practices actually.
right,
So
right.
we can't say that this is all done and we're all above it or we moved on.
Yeah. I mean, it is okay to have any practices, but if it is directly affecting someone and
Exactly.
traumatizing someone, then it is.
Exactly.
Then I mean, I think it's really time to sit and think about it. Like, do we really need it? Do we like? Because with time changing, people also have to change. Otherwise, it would create a lot of problems. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think.
There are stuff like when a woman goes into a new family and like the smallest of superstitious things like maybe a curd falling down, salt falling down, or mirror breaking, or something very silly that's not even in her control happens, and she's kind of blamed for it. Like if there is something bad that happens in the family, somehow the woman gets blamed
Yeah.
for it because of these superstitions, because they have all of
Mm,
this negativity in their mind. It could be
yeah.
as
Right.
simple as just a bat entering the house, or
Mm,
passing the salt from one hand to other, or giving the scissors
yeah.
from one person to other. Somehow passing scissors will discontinue the friendship between two people. Or
Yeah,
maybe she's going to a temple and she's breaking the coconut and she sees the coconut is black.
yeah.
It could be like that. Or it could be sweeping the floor and accidentally touching someone's feet with a broom. It's all
Mm,
very silly, but when you look at it on the whole, or how it is affecting her on the long term, it gets quite annoying.
yeah. Like when you said sweeping the floor, I remembered like we used to, put the broom and the slippers under the bed at night so that there won't be ghosts entering the home or something. Do you remember that?
Oh my god, yes, slippers and broomsticks and all the crazy things that you can keep so
Yeah,
that
under the bed and then we sleep on it. So
on the
to
bed,
make it
not even
devil proof.
under the bed. There are people who put it on the bed, especially when you are in your menstrual phase, like the first time when you get your menses.
Mm-hmm.
They used to, because you are made to sleep alone. They keep all of
Mm-hmm.
these
On the
broomstick and
bed.
stuff on the bed or around the bed. I am not
Oh, I
exactly
remember
sure.
it's
It depends
under
on
the bed.
how
Yeah.
luxurious or what kind of bedding
Yeah.
you had. But yeah, somewhere around it, so that these ghosts or whatever do not affect you. Like, do you think ghosts only want somebody who's menstruating? Why do they want to target menstruating women, or pregnant women?
Yeah, maybe they're
Uh,
weak, that's why. I don't know. Yeah, maybe they're because their body is going through something and they're weak, and that's why, like the devil always attacks the weak. Like, not literally, but the devil, but yeah.
I've actually seen affect me in general. Apart from that, our generation, like in our age groups, let's say, most people have started to look for matches, like in matrimony or something. And one of the major problems that we see is astrology.
Mm.
So
Tell me about it.
it's just that. So just let me understand astrology. I have no clue how it works, but as far as I understand, the moment you come out of your mom's womb, the date and the exact time and the second and the place is noted down, and based on that your whole chart is prepared. Okay,
Yeah.
so the time is not decided by you, it's not decided by God, it's not decided by planet, it's decided by king doctor.
Yeah.
Or see, you can inject yourself with some medicines and you can have the baby come faster. There could be some other reasons to get the baby out, or the time. How does the time of coming out of the womb decide who you are? Like, if I am supposed to say that the soul entered my body at this particular, like, let's say my soul entered my mom's womb at this particular time, how would you know? You're
Yeah,
only knowing the time that I came out of the womb.
yeah,
So that is one question I always had. And let's say this is correct. Let's say that me coming out of the womb this particular time. So apparently each planet is at a particular spot when you are born, and those radiations or whatever, like, these planets and stars affect you from day to day. My question here is, if they are going to affect me at the moment of my birth, they are going to continue affecting me throughout my life. If that is true, then it should affect me like every other person, right? And
yeah.
or every other person having the same chart will be having the same life as it's.
Yeah, that's really
There are so
interesting. Yeah.
many
Yeah.
hypothetically, it's so contradictions with astrology as per my understanding. Maybe I need
Hmm.
to try to understand it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, but
this is
you're
kind
right.
of
Like if
stopping so many things, right? For example, there are people who married through arranged marriage, looking at charts, getting like a 10 on 10 or
hmm.
whatever, getting great matching points and getting divorced like a year later. Or there are some couples who have dated for like years and years and have like really bad points in terms of charts, and living many years together happily.
Yeah. Right. I actually have one of my friends who were like talking to guys on matrimony site, and then every time she feels like, okay, I think he's compatible with me, and then I'll get married and all. Then they send this astrology chats home for compatibility check, and then it goes south there, and then they stop talking to each other, and it's like really
It's
sad,
it's
right? Because
painful. It happened
yeah,
to
it's
me. I have gone through the exact same thing.
oh
The moment that you vibe with someone, and then you see the chart, and then it just goes out,
yeah,
like you said. And
yeah,
you get to a point where, should I believe my gut or should I believe this chart?
yeah. Yeah, I think you should believe your
It's
gut
terrible.
because if everyone is believing chats, then there shouldn't be any divorces, right? But we see a lot of divorces.
True.
So yeah, I think yeah, and I'm also really confused. Like when you talked about the chart and this kind of stuff, right? I was just thinking about destiny because some say that the destiny is already written and you can't change it. Some say that destiny is in your own hands and it's like how you decide and all of that stuff. And these are really like confusing. I only think that as long as something is working for you, go for it. Otherwise, you have to change ways.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, for example, we were talking about the sneezing and then the going out stuff, right? In my home, it's believed that if I sneeze before they do something, it means it'll go really well. Because that's what was happening for many times. So they started believing that, like if somebody else is sneezing, they're like really scared. But if I'm sneezing, then like, okay, this thing will really go well. So yeah, I think it's what we
Coincidences that
believe and
worked.
yeah, I mean, anything that is working relatively well, it should, we tend to believe it. Yeah, there was some of the interviews that I attended wearing a single black shirt too, because I believe that it would bring good luck.
Good luck. Those are sentiments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
and
like you
and you were
said,
talking.
we follow superstitions based on convenience. So if some things work
Yeah,
for us, we keep it. If something
right.
doesn't, we don't. It's like, even if they don't make sense and we know it doesn't make sense, sometimes we just follow it because somehow it worked for us somewhere before, and then we just want to keep the streak
Yeah,
going on,
right, right.
not
And you
risking
were talking
anything
about
anymore.
Nazar. Yeah, you were talking about Nazar, right? I don't know, like, even I believe in Nazar very much, It's like, it scares the shit out of me, man. It's like, whenever I post something, or like, whenever I go outside, like, well dressed, or whenever people know that my life is really going good, it gets fucked up.
No, that's just
It's
because
like,
people are jealous.
yeah. I mean, but somehow it affects us, right? End of the day.
Like I said,
And
it's again negative aura,
mm,
and another thing that I've noticed is negative aura doesn't need to be in like your immediate surrounding to get to you. They can just send you negative aura from millions
it
of
it
miles
takes
away.
some
It
time
doesn't
for
matter.
traveling.
No, it can travel through the internet also. No problem.
Okay. I think it takes some time to check this auspicious muhurtas and all, and then travel and come to you.
Probably, but I think it kind of is coming through the internet. It's coming through your phone screens, everything. It's like
I,
you put
I
a good
think
picture, you have a nice life, you put a photo in your trip, someone's just having a really bad day and uh,
yeah,
throwing all their negative feelings on you. it
yeah.
it
I,
reaches you no matter what. It's
I,
okay.
I
You
think I
have to
should add
accept
some.
it.
I think I should add some firewall or something then to block it.
Fine.
Put some bad stories also. As soon as you put
Bad
some good,
stories.
put some bad. Put cry off and then put.
Cry.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I,
People are just gonna
yeah.
stay crazy and jealous and whatnot.
That's true. And also, like, did you ever have this black thread tied onto your leg or something, which removes
I
all
still
this
have.
nasser? And you still have?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear this funny story? I was having this black thread for 4 years in my bachelor's, and then like things were going fine. Like, I mean, it's life. We look at the perspective like how we want to, right? Like, if we think it is going bad, we only look at the bad side. If we think it is going good, we look at the good side. So yeah, I had this black thread for 4 years, and then shit was happening in my life, and then I didn't think about it much. And then in the final year, I was giving some interviews, and then I was not even clearing a single interview, and one day suddenly the thread came off. I mean, it just came off. And then the next day, I got a mail saying that I was selected. So then I thought, maybe this is the reason that everything was getting blocked.
Yeah.
So yeah, since then, I don't wear a black thread, even if I tend to, because I look on some girls, and it's really cute also, right? Like, when you look at
I
someone
it's
having.
fashion. I do not have the sentiments. It's just
Yeah,
cute.
really. Like, I see many girls wearing it, and I see even guys wearing it, and then I'm like,
Mm.
it's really cute. I even want one. But then I go back and remember what happened, and then I'm like, I don't have the balls to wear it. I'm like, okay,
Just
I'm fine.
you
Yeah, I mean, I
associated
have
that
this.
trauma with this, the black
Right,
thread.
right. So it's like I have some, fashionable anklets and all that you wear for outfits, but I don't go with the traditional black thread that everyone have. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's end of the day how you relate to it, and what is convenient to you, as you said. Yeah. But forcing someone to follow something is bad.
Yeah. That's like we said, some of these superstitions may have developed out of convenience or coincidence. So if you're gonna tell someone just because it worked for you, unless there is a scientific or some kind of logical reasoning behind it, please do not tell anybody what to do or what
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Like, some are really, really harmful. Like, like we were talking about marriage and all, right? During marriage, the girl is not supposed to be on her periods and all, right? Like, and then they
Have
give this
sex at the
tablet.
end of the day. What do you think?
Shit, I forgot this. I forgot linking this, man. I was thinking on that religious notes where the God is involved and all that. Yeah, but see,
Okay,
like,
that yes.
they made to have tablets and all to stop this from menstruating. But do you know how bad it is, and how many side effects we have when we do such
Yeah.
things, stopping the natural. And I have heard like it even instilled some hormonal changes and all, and they had to suffer a lot even because of that one,
Yeah.
step that they have
See,
taken.
one correct. even if you have one sitting of those medicines, it will affect your hormones. Sometimes you could actually get PCOD, or after
Yeah.
taking the medicines, the first few of those periods will be painful, or you might have heavy bleeding. So it's all gonna affect you,
Right.
and I cannot relate with having these medicines during marriages, but then over these years, whenever you plan for a trip, or especially when you're planning for a trip for a pilgrimage to temples, and
Yeah.
this period just always tries to come on the same time when you plan it, then there is this whole confusion whether you should go or whether you should not go, and all of this. So I started asking, why does God discriminate menstruating women or not? And also,
Hmm.
apparently, you can go after your third day, that is, after you take a head bath on your third day. So, for a woman who gets period for like 5 or 6 or 7 days, what about the other days? You're still bleeding. It's the same blood that's coming out of your system. So why doesn't it count? Why it is
Yeah.
only convenient to follow for the first 3 days and not the other days? So again, all of this comes under some kind of convenient. But again, when you
Yeah.
come to these traditions, there is a reason for, like, why women were not going to temple. There is a reason that I think we spoke about in the previous episodes also. Like, the temples mostly in a town or city were situated far away, or on like a mountain or a hill or something. So people
Yeah.
had to travel, walk a long distance to go to the temple and come back. So mostly we avoided those kind of routes. So we were made to sit at home. Now it doesn't apply to us
Yeah.
anymore, and I think we should be allowed to go to temples and whenever we want.
Yeah.
We should not have that kind of sentiments and superstitions anymore. I don't think God's gonna say, "Don't come into my temple when you're on a period" or something. It's just in your head.
Yeah. Even I mean, yeah, that actually makes sense. But yeah, again, it's like we can't. I don't think those practices will come anywhere near
Might
because
come,
I
but
don't
maybe
think.
our generation we have gotten used to this kind of conditioning. That we were made to believe that
Hmm.
do not even do puja. If you are a person who does puja at home, like light a lamp every day, also on those days of your period, you automatically do not do all of those. Even if you are strongly against believing all of these practices, somewhere you are conditioned to believe that, okay, these few days I'm not supposed to do anything auspicious or anything that's God related. Like, even it's if it could be
Yeah.
celebrating Diwali or some kind of festival also, you're like, yeah, my God, my period during this festival. Even if it is not linked to God, you just have that kind of feeling, and I think that should change.
Yeah.
Even it's going to be difficult to come out of that conditioning, I think it should definitely change in the future.
Yeah, and back to superstitions. Did you hear that if like a spider falls on you, then you get new clothes and this kind of things? I've seen my friends, like we had the spider webs in colleges and all, and my friends going and poking those webs so that a spider falls in them and
Spider
then they get
reminds us of
new clothes.
Spider-Man, but this is new.
Yeah. And there is like this moles, having moles on your like parts of the body. It like where it is located, it signifies something. Like I've had my friends who have moles on the neck, and then they said like they'll be very rich and have a lot of jewelry in the future because the moles are on the neck. And mole on the left foot is said to bring great luck wherever you step. And these kind of things are.
I just want to know who made up this shit. I'm so curious to know who created all of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like superstitions and all of these things that we have been carrying for so many years, we've all collectively believed something. Whoever made us all
Hmm.
to believe this, like we discussed, we all followed it because it was all associated with either good luck or bad luck. It was always some kind of reward
Yeah.
or punishment kind of a thing. And once
Yeah.
we get out of that mindset, that's the only time we start living. This generation that we are in, we are not afraid of everything that we do. We are like, we are not afraid of sins, or we are not afraid of heaven or hell. We are kind of focused more on
Yeah.
living in the present, which is actually a very beautiful thing. And we are actually very privileged to be in a time like this, where we have an opportunity to focus more on our mental health, on ourselves, more than anything else. And all of these superstitions just are like minor disturbances. And once you start standing up for yourself, objective, like if someone's telling you that this is how you should be, or you have to follow certain things, once you stand up for themselves and demand explanations, they are definitely gonna back off, and you're gonna do what you want to do anyways. So
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like,
Yeah, we should not, yeah, like we should not stop questioning and do something just for the sake of doing, at least like when it is affecting you in a very bad way, like you're really, really not happy or comfortable doing something, then you have the freedom to question it and then decide for yourself. So you don't need to do stuff merely for the sake of doing it, like, yeah, at least we have that freedom now.
I think whoever's still following these superstitions, if there are certain sentiments that you have that works for you, well and good. But like Soumya said, if it's going to be a hindrance to your life, it's creating some kind of stress in your life, I think you can just let them go and just stand up with yourself, tell other people that it's not going to work out for me, and you do you. And another thing
Yeah.
is, if you've had any crazy superstitions that you followed, or you've actually heard about in your life, please let us know in the comments, or just DM us in our Instagram page, and we would love to know about them, and
Yeah.
we could possibly discuss them in our stories sometime. So, whoever listens to this episode, please do DM some of your favorites soon, and we would love to talk more about these topics. Or if you have anything specific that you want us to go delve into, just tell us, and we'll come back again for another episode soon. And if you still love listening to our episode, please to subscribe our Instagram and our Spotify, and wherever you're listening to, and give us your suggestions. Give share it with your friends, and do support us. Thank you so much, Soumya, for joining me today, and I hope we see again next week on a brand new episode. Until then, have a wonderful week, guys. See you. Bye bye.